right, let's quickly look at people who sell what could be related to drugs at the parks and all of that. As a drug abuse educator, what is your take about that? Do you think that can be reduced such that people would have to, pick it from there before they start driving and all of that?
I think it is totally wrong for people to sell drugs or alcohol at motor parks and even on the road. The law enforcement agency should make sure they enforce the law to curb these hawkers at motor parks and on our roads.
Okay, there's a report about possibly putting increasing tax on alcohol, so to speak. There was a time they were trying to increase tax on sugar, soft drinks, and all of that. Do you see that happening? Do you see that helping? Say, okay, all these herbal drinks and all of that, which is mixed with some kind of substance that will make people misbehave. Do you see that happening? Do you see that as a solution?
How much were we selling all these items in the past? Inflation has increased the price.
Okay.
So has it stopped them from taking it? So it's not about putting taxes on. How do you put taxes on what you are condemning? So do you put taxes on the drugs that kill the system? So if we're talking of total eradication, the law should be put in place to say, let this thing not surface. And for FRSC, we have what we call breathalyzer, which is an equipment that is used in doing sampling for drivers when they are on transit. So like this season now, when Salah is about to take, we are going to have about 5 days. Well, summer public holiday, people will be traveling. We are going to have motor park rallies, which we have been doing over the years to talk to the drivers, and our men will be on the road. So before you engage that driver as a commuter, be very sure that the man that is about to take you is not under the influence of alcohol.
All right, we should also talk about this rainy season. Do you see that as a serious issue?
It's a major one.
What's your take?
It's a major one, and we've been doing much as regards making sure that people, put vehicles that are up to standard on the road. Especially, how do you operate on the road without wiper under this rainy season? And some people do make caricature of it. They don't have wiper, and it's raining. You now see them bringing out their left hands with towel.
Yes, true.
You can see the extent to which people
Is it about being uneducated?
You should tell me. If do you need to go to school before you know that it's a risk for you to be driving under the rain?
Does it have anything to do with culture, mentality? What you think? You see, some people say what will be. With all of these things, you see, when they see your officials sometimes, what they do, they put on the belt.
Exactly.
When they pass your officials, they remove the belts. What's the problem?
At whose risk? I think at times when policies are made, they don't get to understand that the policies are made to protect them. They see it as placing the government, not when we say, okay, don't make all while driving. They feel, maybe it's just, they always have a motive behind every policy that is put in place. Forgetting that the essence of you not making calls while driving is to stop you from being distracted. I put up a show one time. I look at all these women and men that are cleaning the road. This sanitation personnel on the highway, and I look at the risk they are being exposed to, because I know the measure of distraction that goes on within those cars. When I'm driving, I don't look at the vehicle, I look at the driver inside the other vehicle, because you'll be so surprised I see that making call or texting or chatting or even looking for his phone while driving.
Do you know sometimes I just mentioned that some of them, it could be as a result of being literate or whatever.
Yes.
But then I realized that people who are even learned are doing the same. And we still talk about mindset. So in that regard, it's not about being educated. So you actually know what is right to do, but you don't do it. We see people in clean cars, very decent people, well dressed. They still pick their calls.
Did you know that money is like a spirit? It comes and goes depending on how you use it judiciously. Little savings can add up, especially if you do it consistently over time. And doing several things all at once may mean that you can save significantly each month. Sometimes all it takes is that first step in the right direction to get things moving in your favor. These simple tips on how to save money can help you develop a simple and realistic plan to save for goals, either big or small. Create a budget. At the heart of any savings plan is a carefully outlined budget. Budgeting helps you prioritize your expenditure and find a balance between spending and saving money across the whole year. All you need to do is to check your credit card statements, bills, bank statements, and receipts to work out all your regular expenses such as your house rent, transport, insurance, and electricity. Make plans to save. After successfully creating a budget, create a savings category within it. Try to save at least 10 to 15% of your income. Consider the money you put into saving a regular expense, similar to house rent. If your expenses are so high that you can't save that much, it might be time to cut back. Open a fixed deposit account. By restricting easy access to your money, fixed deposit bank accounts can give you a higher interest rate than basic savings or transactional accounts you might be used to. Fixed deposit accounts allow bank customers to keep their money in the bank and earn several percent per year on top of the original amount. Even if the process of placing a fixed deposit varies slightly from one bank to another, opening a fixed deposit account is still very simple. Buy things in bulk. This one is pretty easy. If you have items that you use frequently, then look into seeing if you can purchase them in bulk and get a discount from a local supplier. Oftentimes, you will find out that you will get much better per unit price and you will rarely have to worry about running out of that item again. If you ever find yourself spending more than you earn, ask yourself what you can do to cut out or cut back to save some money.
Before the advent of EndSARS,
Okay.
sanity has fully restored to Lagos because I happen to be part of it. You see decorum on our roads. You see people driving in line with their lanes. You see the reduction in driving against traffic, and you see reduction in rickety vehicles of 3 months to restore sanity. The recklessness, return of motorbikes or what have you, and at the same time, when you look at all the agencies that are operating, that's paramilitary and military now, yes. The drug.
Just like the saying goes, what a man can do, a woman can do better. The women's football team, Super Falcons, have risen up to many challenges and have paved way for new talent, while also putting Nigeria on the world map and making women proud. The Nigerian national women's football team, nicknamed the Super Falcons, represents Nigeria in international women's football and is controlled by the Nigerian Football Federation. The team is by far Africa's most successful international women's football team, winning a record 11 Africa Women Cup of Nations titles, with their most recent title in 2018, after defeating South Africa in the final. The team is also the only women's national team from the Confederation of African Football to have reached the quarterfinals in both the FIFA Women's World Cup and football at the Summer Olympics. They are also one of the few teams in the world to have qualified for every edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup, with their best performance at the 1999 FIFA Women's World Cup, where they reached the quarterfinals. The Super Falcons are the undisputed queens of African football, winning 11 of the 13 Women's Continental Championships ever played. With their exceptional performance so far, it is no surprise how the Super Falcons have climbed 2 spots in the latest FIFA World Rankings, moving from their 41st position to 39th position after it was released 25th March 2022. The Nigerian team was exceedingly brilliant last month, having beaten the Lady Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire. Although the US are still the #1 team in the world, with Sweden still in the 2nd position and France moved to 3rd. The Nigerian ladies completed a double over the Lady Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire in February, which was practically responsible for the upward movement on the rankings. Amazingly, Super Falcons, who are the current African champions, remain the #1 best team on the continent, followed by Cameroon, Ghana and South Africa. The Nigerian national senior female football team, Super Falcons, have opened their training camp in Abuja, the nation's capital, ahead of the 2022 African Women Cup of Nations, held for Morocco. Nigeria head into the 12th edition of the tournament as defending champions, with head coach Randy Waldrum, who would be in the technical area of his best AWCON, and his assistants with a blend of experienced legs, newcomers and talented youngsters from home and abroad.
I would say generality of Nigerians don't drive safely on the road. One, let me even deviate a bit. We don't have this, we don't accommodate other road users. For instance, somebody wants to even cross the road. Nobody, maybe 20 cars will keep passing, nobody will want to stop except just one person. So we don't accommodate other road users. Then I think people should show more accommodation when we drive. But if you say generally, I don't think we drive safe here. Well, safety and security can be achieved if we follow the road signs, learn to. Zebra crossing is just a sign in Nigeria. We don't follow it. How to achieve safety and security is to follow the road signs. Learn to be alert when you're driving. There are bad habits while we drive, throwing things out of the car, using the phones. Yes, and I think that's another thing that we can, if we learn to, when you're driving, you understand that you're carrying a whole lot with you. An accident can occur, so it's good to be alert. So I think it's to say, stop texting while you're driving, and then don't throw things out. Just be alert when you're driving. Face the steering. Yeah.
Nigerians are reckless drivers. They don't adhere to the rules and regulations that governs driving. Period. Facing one way, we are so impatient. Any little traffic, we have to cut corners and start facing one way and get congested. Stop collecting bribes when you arrest them. When you apprehend them, stop collecting bribes from them. Let them face the music. Let them pay the fine. When they know that you guys are for real, then they stop doing that.
People drive recklessly. I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's becoming a thing in Lagos. It's like a vibe. You even see people wind down just to insult each other. And yeah, texting while driving and listening to video, music and all of that. So they should make it mandatory. This insurance, motor insurance, they should make it mandatory. So I know third parties mandatory, but I'm not sure of comprehensive and all of that. They should just, in one way or the other, I think having a comprehensive motor insurance will actually help drivers.
Nigerians are driving safely. That's why if you travel abroad and you have a Nigerian driver's license, it is treasured. They tell you that if you can drive in Nigeria, then you can drive in US, you can drive in United Kingdom, because it means that you know your ways. Many of the drivers don't know road signs. We are not what we are saying. What we are saying is that yes, there are so many people, depending on your level, that know how to use the road, but there are also still bad eggs that don't use the road well. Like this era, you see somebody who is on phone, he's pressing his phone and he's driving, he's not even watching. Even every sign, even people are making noise, he's not listening. And another thing, they put their earpiece. they can't hear anything out. They are focused on that music or whatever they are playing, and they are not watching, they are not observant. They run into anybody. Those are the things. And sensitization. The media houses, everybody has a role to play, din it into the ears of these people that this is the way to use the road, this is the way to go, and it is the duty of everybody. And parents also want their children that are driving that once you are driving, you don't do this, you don't do it. And the government also is also trying to emphasize this, but the thing is that some of us don't hear. We don't hear.
My name is Virginia every summer.
From fourth quarter of 2021, which recorded 3,407. But then we still have reports, especially on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and some other roads like that. So what's your take about this, looking at the report and what is happening on the roads?
Yes, thank you very much. The report of MBS could as well be rated to be the submission of Federal Safety Corps. So I will see it as being valid, and at the same time, when you look at the level of reduction being recorded, it's a 1.8, which is quite insignificant, despite the help or the efforts being put in place by our establishment.
Why do you consider it insignificant?
Insignificant in the sense that if you look at the expectation of United Nations Decade of Action, we're talking of 50% reduction. That's for the 10 years being put in place, which we started 2021, and it's expected to end 2030. By virtue of all the indices made available to us, looking at the 5 pillars as being used as the platform for our efforts, we had expected something more significant.
So what exactly is stopping your commission from getting to that level?
Okay.
The expected.
When you look at the various main signs in place, it's about our personal decision.
So are you saying
against the system?
Against the system?
Yes.
The perception that anything goes here,
which the enforcement has been consistently trying to correct. Because you should know that it's not child's play. If I say in Lagos alone we make an average of 60,000 arrests annually, and last mile is there making his own arrest, VIS is there making his own arrest, and despite that, we still have this measure of recklessness. Because it's not that what they have in the other world as agencies or security agencies are better than us. But I would rather say, it takes two to tango. One man makes the law, one man complies. A situation where the law does not match with compliance, that's where we have conflicts. If the law says you must not ply the road without your number plates, front and back, and you see a well-educated man, because he just bought the state-of-the-art vehicle, and the logo of whatever brand is in front, and he feels that's the number plates, and when you accost him, he says there's number at the back. Is it that he does not know what the law says? I think in the system we have is that we just always want to test the water, and this is where the law enforcement agencies will need to brace up. I did one Operation No Mercy one time, because we realize someone will say he's a first timer. There's nothing like first timer in traffic offense, because I don't have the data of all the ones that have committed, because the man that committed the offense for the first time got killed. So you don't joke with life when it comes to traffic issues. We take it for granted. I think that's a major problem we have.
We take it for granted. Okay, before we round off, what should be the responsibility of people who get into vehicles with drivers who drive recklessly? Do they have something to do about that?
Operation Speak Out.
Operation Speak Out.
I've said this severally. When you keep quiet, you find yourself where you are not supposed to be. I've entered vehicles severally, and I've understudied the commuters. Under few minutes that the vehicle takes off, 90% of the people in the vehicle are already asleep.
Wow.
And when you are awake and you look at the inner mirror, you see most of the drivers struggling with sleep.
Okay. So we are going to talk about this again, maybe some other time, if if you will be able to oblige to our request to come around. Now, there's something about speedometer too.
Yes.
Most speedometers are not working,
Yeah.
and I think the commission should also do something about that.
It's noted.
All right, thank you so much. We've been speaking to drug abuse educator and social worker, Oluwafemi Silas. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And of course, the sector commander, FRSC Lagos Sector Command, that's co-commander, Olusegun Ogungbemide. It's good to have you on the show once again. Thank you for coming. All right, that's it on the Show Your Viewpoint this week. We will be back again next week. If you have comments, questions, contributions, ideas, whatever it is, send it to our social media platforms. That's at Your Viewpoint on the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also send it to the numbers we've been showing you on the screen. Thank you so much for being there. I am Rotimi Akintunde. Thank you so much for being there. Bye for now.